why. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's up, guys? Philip Lindsay here, and I want to tell you about my new obsession. That's with Daisy's French Onion Dip. One of my guilty pleasures during football season is eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching any big-time game. And now that Daisy's has come out with a delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and also a Daisy's Ranch Dip, these are definitely game changers that you are not going to want to miss out on. They're as delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients that you can find in your own kitchen. So if you want to be blown away like I was, then you need to give Daisy's French Onion Dip a try today. You can find Daisy's French Onion Dip at a grocery store near you.
Summer is here, and so is the seasonal traffic. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Postman Law at 844-POSTMAN to get the justice and compensation you deserve. With over $3 billion recovered, we fight and win for you. Don't let an accident ruin your summer. If you've been injured, call Postman Law now at 844-POSTMAN to schedule a free consultation.
Brandon Stokely here from my team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Huge heat pump rebates have been extended and are still available. My team at ROX are heat pump experts. The energy rebates and tax credits are unreal right now. You can get up to $12,000 off a new heat pump system, the best way to heat and cool your home. Colorado's hometown team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX rocks heating and air.
I'm Dr. Joel Cherdak with Denver Regenerative Medicine. If you're ready to lose weight safely and effectively, we prescribe real GLP-1 medications at standard dosages from licensed U.S. pharmacies, not half-strength drugs from unknown or online sources. Your care is managed by a real medical doctor at a real clinic, with telemedicine available. And right now, we're offering a free consultation to help you get started. See real results for under $300 a month. Schedule your free consult today at DenverRegen.com. That's DenverRegen.com.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get up to 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO for an additional 5% off.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots, on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/9/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of one unlimited intro line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. One discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Football Friday edition of Denver Sports Tonight. I am Danny Williams along with Dante Gomez. Dante, how are you, brother?
Doing great, Danny. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Usually you and Mike Rice got Friday nights. I'm in for Mike, so to speak, who I've known for years and years and years. He's a great guy. Like one of the great kind of post-game Broncos legends. There's guys like Lou from Littleton, who Mike Rice is right up there with one of those guys. So it's kind of cool to be able to kind of work with Mike, and I know you guys are bros. So looking forward to doing the show tonight with you, Dante.
Yeah, definitely. You and Mike don't overlap too much in your similarities with doing a show, though. I will say that.
Oh, no, we're totally different, actually, in the way that we handle our show. We just go way back, like throwbacks, way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with that hat to match. So, okay. So, Dante, this is kind of the end of the week here, the regular work week, the business week for fan listeners. So we got to kind of get it all right here for those guys here. The Buffs are down 3-0 here in the first quarter. That game kind of started a little bit earlier. People are like, what? That game's on? Yeah, that game's on, but don't check in until 7. We'll update you, but don't check in until 7. We got a lot of good Broncos stuff for you guys. Early pregame edition of this, of the Sunday NFL football weekend, week 2. And I just kind of had a quick thought, Dante. Let's start here. The Broncos go take care of business against the Colts. Easier said than done. Again, look what happened with the Titans. And you and I are back here Monday night, okay? And we're 2-0, and you're looking into, again, kind of like, well, let's get into now the real kind of meat of the schedule. This is potatoes. You're 2-0. You took care of business. And according
Real quick, on taking care of business, does that mean just getting a W by any means, or are you talking about like winning by 10?
I think we'll get there. Okay. The style points, I think that's something that, we brought it up last night when the three of us were in here. That's something to think about. But I go to, let me run these numbers.
No, keep going. I just wanted to see. I wanted your definition.
Oh, Dante, I love it. Let me run these numbers real quick. Boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. It says, according to my number, 65 to 69% of the time, if you're 2-0, if you start your NFL season 2-0, you make the playoffs. Okay, so again, Dante, let's go back to kind of your question a little bit. I've learned the hard way. And again, you're slightly younger than me. I'm like your cooler big brother who like, you're bigger than me or whatever, but like you respect me. And it's because I've gone through the highs and the lows of expecting games like this to be easy work. All work is light work. You expect, hey, I need that cover. Hey, put him in the parlay, the Broncos should be able to go out there and do this. Yeah, if the Broncos are going to be that 12 or 13 win kind of Thundercat juggernaut, they got to go up there and not just beat these guys. They got to smoke the Colts. I've learned the hard way a lot of times that, again, the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles, they didn't look great last week. The Kansas City Chiefs have a chance to be 0-2. I think they will be 0-2 after this football week ends. So I think that in any way, shape, and form, and we'll get it out of the way early, Dante, have the Broncos winning 26-24. Something like that. It's going to be all the way down to the wire. Again, if you're a home dog, you're getting points and playing in my building, man, a lot of people eat that kind of stuff up historically. That's a good take. Dante. So I'm just kind of want to ask you, are you saying like, well, if it's a 17-16 ugly grinder slugfest, are we not going to feel as good as a 31-17, even though we're 2-0 at the end of the day?
Yeah, I wouldn't feel as good.
You wouldn't feel as good.
Not with the 3 games following that. And you got some tough games, and that Jets game looks a little tougher after week 1 than we kind of expected as well. You can kind of, sandwich that in with this Colts team where it's like, oh, maybe they're a little better. I know they ended up losing to the Steelers, but still looked much better than anticipated. Again, 2-0 is what really matters, but it would make me more concerned for the next 3 games on the schedule.
Let me give you this. Cam Ward emerges and looks like the next young star in the league. They win 6 or 7 games. There's a big difference there. If they were to win, the Titans were to win 7 games, it'd be like, okay, man, they got the right guy. 6 games is kind of like, I'm still not sure. It's weird with the 6 and 7 games. So say they win 7 games. Just play the game with me, okay? And compete within that division. And then say the Colts, who were 8-9 last year, Again, they literally laid one down at the 1-yard line for the Broncos, gave the Broncos a game. The Colts thought maybe they're potentially a playoff team last year. Maybe they were if that didn't happen against the Broncos. They're flirting with 500. There's no such thing in a 17-game schedule as 500. But 8-9, 9-8 for the Colts, that tells me they're the first team out. They're right there on the cusp. They're probably, to me, Dante, going to do that same thing again. So you're not getting two cupcakes, roll over and die teams that maybe at the end of the season you're like, yeah, they're team we thought they were going to be at the beginning, the first part of the season here. Look what the Colts did to the Dolphins last week. They believe, like Coach Prime says, they believe, okay? They're believing it right now. They're believing in they didn't know how to use Daniel Jones. We do. We still have Jonathan Taylor, a top 5 running back in the league, and 3 or 4 times in this NFL season, it might be the best running back in the league. Got a couple receivers. Got a defensive front that's pretty tough. They're pretty competitive year in and year out. Are you expecting, Dante Gomez, this to be easy work for the Broncos this weekend?
Easier work.
Easier work than what, last week?
Maybe not easier work, but I'm expecting them to play better than they did last week.
Okay, but what if the Colts are better than the Titans? So
I think the gap will be, I'll just jump to it. I have them winning by 11.
Okay,
the
what's
Broncos.
give me the number. Let me hear it.
I have 27-16.
27-16. I'll remember that. I gave you a 26-24. Okay, so we're in Monday night together. So what makes you feel like that's going to kind of shake out that way?
Because I think the Broncos are better than they showed in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the offense we're expecting to see all season here. I think Bo Nix is going to settle down a little more than what we saw in week 1. I think it helps that the Colts have some injuries to their secondary. I think Sean Payton should, he was a little hard on himself as well this week in his press conferences. I think he's going to call a better game. I think the whole, tone of the team is, hey, we won, but we're better than what we showed on last Sunday versus the Titans.
Okay. And again, I'm going down this road early in the show just to kind of paint that picture that no disrespect. I'm not disrespecting the Colts in any way, shape, or form because, again, look at the number, how it's moved from 4.5 to now 1. Might be a pick 'em by game time. What?
So you said you have the Colts at this point 9-8. You're sold on the Colts being
8-9, the same team essentially they were last year, like a quarterback away.
You think they'll be pretty middling there?
Yeah, I do. I think they'll be like the 8th or 9th team in the AFC. First team out, second team out of the playoffs.
I'm not quite as sold on the Colts. I still think there's a chance Steichen gets canned during the season.
No. And I'll hear you. But again, people would be surprised to hear they were 8-9 last year, even though they gave the Broncos kind of one. But I think people would think they were a 6 or 7 win outfit. Let's continue to go down the road of we don't want to peak too early. We have till 7. We're going to build momentum. We're just kind of playing that no disrespect but game right now with the Colts. And I think by the show's end, we'll have gained some steam here to where we're feeling like, okay, maybe I'm going to start. Maybe I'll change my prediction by the end of the show and lead towards, where Dante's at. But right now, I think the Colts have this belief. They have a belief that they're kind of in this. They have a belief of we're building off of 8-9. Daniel Jones we didn't need to bring Aaron Rodgers in here. We didn't need Anthony Richardson to go run around, throw his body around, and jeopardize everything, in one play, trying to be a hero. Maybe Daniel Jones is just kind of enough. Daniel Jones when he had Saquon, and Daniel Jones when they had, a couple pieces, earned himself a second contract, a lot of money, and he looked good for a year, half a season, So then Saquon goes away. What happens? Well, we're going to blame Daniel Jones for everything. Listen, don't get me wrong. The guy's a bum. He's probably a bum. I'm in for a Renaissance, comeback story, but this guy's just physically talented. Might be just wow him in the interview room, and might be, tough as nails. And that's what, he just, that's why he got this benefit of the doubt in this second opportunity. Usually first round picks, guys drafted really high. You flame out in one place, and then someone says, well, man, don't you remember how much we liked this guy? We liked Daniel Jones, and now we get him a discounted rate. We'll fix him. Everyone thinks I can fix this guy. So I'm not necessarily in that kind of camp. But my point is the Colts right now, I think you might be getting the Colts at the wrong time. And if you're getting the Colts later in the season when it starts to kind of come apart for these guys, well, it's a better time to kind of get these guys out after they've been revealed a little bit. So a big factor, one of the probably the 5 or 6 biggest factors in this game for me is like this belief that the Colts have. Hey, we worked all mini camps, training camps. We like what we did in the draft. We've always liked we love our fronts, both offensive, defense. This fast start, you have the buy-in. Then it's like the players, young players, are like, man, coaches, that's right. We're winning now. We're having success. We're all eating, So you have that kind of belief. That's what happened with the Broncos last year. After the 2-0 start, they kind of get their act together, start feeling themselves. You get some Velays in the mix. You get some Troy Franklin over the top. You get some defensive kind of players, and Jonathan Cooper and Bonito become kind of sensations. And then you become a little bit bigger than your actual parts. But do you know what? If you're winning with it, the buy-in, you fill in that gap. The gap is filled in. That hope gap is filled in with real production. Therefore, you skip some steps with experience. So the biggest factor here, and answer me this here. The Broncos are just lacking experience. They're one of the youngest teams in the league. Polish comes with, man, it's like a well-oiled machine. You see what the Bills offense looks like, the Ravens, what they look like, with the Chiefs, what they can look like. The experience and the polish can't be made up, fast-forwarded, microwaved. That's what the Broncos are kind of lacking and missing. And as the season goes along, Dante, they're going to look better and better and better, right?
I think so, yes. I think it was a good point about the Colts, though, and their belief this early.
Yeah.
They do have that belief, and that does worry me a little bit. It's one of those where, they don't know they're bad yet.
Oh,
they still
perfect.
think,
I love the way you phrase that.
We can go to the Colts, but you are right. If you catch them later in the season, at that point, the wheels are coming off a little bit. It's like, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. Maybe you don't get their best effort, what you're going to get tomorrow. And then as far as the Broncos go, I do expect this to be a climb still. They are not the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, where and you guys kind of talked about it yesterday, which this is where I would disagree with you guys talking about Dre Greenlaw's injury, and you're talking about load management. The Broncos aren't in a position to have load management. They're fighting for their playoff lives still. There's no guarantee that this Broncos team is playing football in January. So I'm with you on that. I expect them to still, increase over the season and get better at the offense. And the defense looked incredible in week 1, but I expect that to continue. But they are no means a finished product.
No, and one more little bit on the Colts there. There's people who are going to roll their eyes at this. I'm not saying this from the bottom of my heart, but there's people who thought the Dolphins would compete to be like the last AFC playoff contending team. Okay? Right? So
I was one of those.
I think I was right there too. It was like 7 or 8, in or out. Well, the Colts are looking like we just beat a team that's going to keep us out of the playoffs. So that's where we just jumped maybe in theory, a playoff team. I think the Colts would look at the Broncos as, hey, not only would it be kind of early marquee win for those guys, but they're thinking they're not better than us. They're not better than us. They kind of got a break against us last season. Won a couple games. Man, the Broncos. That is still when you look back. Not to go off sidetrack here. 10 games, 29 touchdowns. I still don't know how it happened last year. I got to go back and look at that last season again. It's still almost with no tight ends, no run game. The defense is, now we're thinking the best defense in the league, but they weren't quite that last year, and they faded down the stretch. The Colts are thinking, okay, the Broncos are maybe fool's gold, fugazi. Okay, the Broncos have, again, everything to prove. If they're going to make right by all of us guys here, especially all the national media who's fell in love with these Broncos over the last month, to go back to where you were at the beginning, Dante, you got to go win this game. But if you only score 17 points, if you struggle to hit 20 again, well, then the Bo Nix hater crowd, they'll be out in force that this guy is product of Sean Payton,
product of a good defense.
Yeah, not the real deal. The defense is getting you extra possessions, bringing you the ball back when you're making mistakes. And, again, he's the next Mac Jones. Ew. Right? Mac Jones, what happens? Wins 10 games, Again, pretty quick after Tom Brady's out of there, so they're thinking like, wow, man, Belichick is the guy. We can win with anybody. People are buying Max Jones jerseys, and then the guy's a bum. He's going to play this weekend, though. He's going to play for Purdy this weekend, so we'll see again if this guy could have a renaissance. But I'm going to be on Dante, man. Do you want me to lie to you, or do you want me to tell you the truth?
Don't tell me and I'll guess.
I'm not ready to go spend $179.99 plus and $20 in tax on a Bo Nix jersey just yet. I'm not quite there yet.
I think you're telling the truth.
I'm close. I am. Thank you. You are the father, okay, in that situation. So I'm just not quite there yet.
I think that's fair.
I want to be, Dante. Are you?
No, I think that's 100% fair. I think we're leaning that way. He's going to be here for a while.
We want it back.
I would kind of relate that to, I don't think the Broncos are ready to spend $200 million on Bo Nix. I don't think they're offering that kind of contract right now. I think they still, got to wait and see a little bit. Vince Young had a great rookie season. Didn't really amount to much in the NFL.
RG3 did too. We just gave you Mac Jones. There's been some guys who kind of...
A lot of examples. I think Bo Nix is different than those guys. I think Bo Nix has the intangibles to be successful in this league. I think he's in a successful situation with Coach Sean Payton as well. I think Sean Payton likes him and wants him to be successful. But no, I'm not 100% sold on Bo Nix yet.
Okay.
I also don't think this game would change that for me very much, though. I don't think, even unless they have put up 0 points, that would maybe impact my train of thought on that.
No,
but
if they can't get to 10 or 13 and they struggle and they lose this game because of the offense, that's what it would be. We're going to have a weird kind of Monday, Dante.
I agree, but I still think he has the whole this season to prove himself.
I agree, but now the standard is, for me, simply replicate what you did last year. Go get me into the playoffs, 10 or 11 wins, throw 30 touchdowns, and then you're kind of like, okay, well, that's what this guy does. At that point, how do we win with this, and how do we build off this, and how do we translate this to playoff success and then kind of Super Bowl success? So I do think that Bo Nix, and I'm tired of talking about, Sean Payton putting this ridiculous standard of him being the top 4 quarterback the next few years in the league, and this team being a Super Bowl contender right now. I just wish he wouldn't have done that. I just wish he would not have done that, because the expectations have been risen so high naturally, and then naturally around here, nationally, and then your coach solidifies it, who's a coach who's won a Super Bowl, who's credible, who's emotional, who says things for better or for worse, goes and says that. I'm not going to drag it out anymore, and you can't take it back. Because I got a big mouth that's gotten me in trouble before, even around here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
doesn't sound like you.
Well, you know me now, Dante. So I'm trying my best. So it's a give and take, and it's a for better or for worse. But I'll say I'm just not all the way yet sold on Bo Nix, where I got to go drop the $200 on the jersey. I wish I had that bread like that, it's no big deal. But then I couldn't live with myself going into my closet and looking at a Locke jersey, a Keenum jersey, Lynch jersey. That'd be a bummer. That's a bummer. So I don't do that kind of stuff, because I just think I got a little more common sense than that. And I think there's nothing wrong with Bo Nix having to prove it more to me, to you, Dante, and to Broncos country. Let's ride. Sorry, I just was feeling the moment there.
No, absolutely. And speaking to that, we had one of our promotions guys was in here the other day, Joey. He was rocking a number 5 jersey, and then he left the room, and I turned to Drew. I was like,
"It was Bridgewater?"
Well, you jumped to the end of the story. I was like, was that a Baron Browning jersey? And then he's like, no, it was a Bridgewater jersey. And I was like, ew, gross. I get Teddy was fine here, but that's not the kind of jersey I would like to have, put it that way. Especially now in 2025, where it's like, dude, he was here for a couple seasons, nothing really spectacular happened, didn't go to the playoffs or anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fan favorite, and he wasn't very good either. So it was kind of why do you own that jersey? I don't think that's what's going to turn into Bo Nix, but I'm with you. I'm not ruling it out that there is a chance he doesn't get a second contract here. But yeah, no, I think, again, I think he's going to go out and prove it. I think this year the Broncos are going to go out to the playoffs. So
you're kind of, in the end, you're kind of, are you believing in the ideology of Bo Nix, or you believe it from the bottom of your heart that it's going to happen? It is going to happen for this guy.
I think it is going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet, is what I would say.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
But I would say that about a lot of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with Bo Nix specifically. It has to do with he's only been in the league for one season. Like I'm not even sold on Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels will be in the league for a long time. I don't know if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback 3-4 years from now.
Yeah.
I think that's still yet to be seen.
We want to comp everything in sports, you know. We want to comp everything. Well, this is, give me a situation where this happened for this guy before. Yeah, Roethlisberger and Dan Marino and Russ went to Super Bowls in their second year. A couple of those guys won Super Bowls. It's probably not going to happen for the Broncos this year, even though you're thinking, well, why not? They got this and this, the makeup here. You got a Super Bowl head coach. Yeah, I love all that. I'm down with it. And it does happen maybe every 10 years. Okay?
Well, I'm going to defend that real quick.
Go ahead. No, tell me, Dante,
I'm going to defend that real quick. I think you could say every single team in the NFL probably not going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's specific to the Broncos or Bo Nix. You give me talk about the Buffalo Bills, probably not going to go to the Super Bowl. You talk about the Chiefs, probably not going to go to the Super Bowl. Maybe even the Packers and Eagles, you don't know who's going to I don't think that's fair to put on anybody. Probably not going to go to the Super Bowl.
You know what? When you made me just think of, I don't have the problem with Will or anybody else thinking the Broncos could win 12 or 13 games and having that really crazy high Super Bowl standard or expectation. Damn, I love it. I wish I can be there with you. It's a little more fanatic than I'm willing to kind of go down the road I'm willing to go down. And it's not just because I'm a jaded former reporter who used to report for the Associated Press. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're only the world's largest and oldest news organization.
Were you the guys that were messing up the College AP poll?
Stop.
You were one of those, Danny?
Stop it. No, that was not me. Or Arnie or Pat Graham. These are great guys. I just think that, the Broncos I'm down with that. Let's raise those expectations. Every year we go into this, hope bag, and it's empty. And it's just hope is you can't feel it or touch it. It's not the real thing. It's not tangible. It's not real production. This feels real. I'll say this. Bo Nix, Sean Payton, ownership, who and what the Broncos now are, it really feels kind of like the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing, babe. Okay. We have a little bit of time here and about a minute left. Gonna go to break. Buffs are getting beat right now. They're down 10-0. Could get worse. It's about as much as I'm willing to say can say, okay? It's the start of the college football week, and there's some other games on. There's some banger games over the college football Saturday early on as well. You want to talk a little Buffs? We still can in the midst of the game going on. Just kind of touch on it a little bit. Maybe we could talk about as we're in the midst of this game on the other side, Dante. Because I know you want to talk about the Buffs. If they get beat down in this game, what does that look like? How are we feeling on Monday? Are we taking that? Is the air getting slowly, the helium let out of the balloon, and the balloon's been up there, man? Has this balloon been on the ceiling forever? We can't get it down on these high ceilings. Is it going to be up there forever? Is it? If the Buffs lose this game, and kind of in what fashion, talk about style points, what fashion the Buffs losing, does that start to just kind of the air come out of the helium, out of the air for the Buffs here? Let's talk about the Buffs. We'll get back into the Broncos, and we're going to do it on the other side.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Change is always happening. Hey, it's part of life, and when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that'll stay the same: the price of your internet. Xfinity is introducing the 5-year price guarantee. It means you'll get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Don't let the wrong gear ruin your time in the field. Upgrade your arsenal with premium brands at great prices during the Shields Hunting Sale event now through September 14th. Score free tax stamps for suppressor purchases over $5.99 and save big on Sitka, Lucky Duck, Shields Outfitters, and shot shells from the top brands. Join the community of hunters who trust Shields experts to outfit their adventures and get more bang for your buck now through September 14th at Shields.
Whether it's kickoff, halftime, or the final drive, fuel your football season at Dickey's Barbecue Pits. Order the Two Can Dine for $29.99 deal. Two meat plates stacked with pit smoke flavor. Or go for the new Triple Play Combo. A classic sandwich, savory side, and a big yellow cup for just $12.99. No matter who you're rooting for, great barbecue is always a win. Dickey's Barbecue Pit, legit. Texas barbecue.
Attention golf lovers, the city of Aurora has you covered this fall. Home to 5 beautiful courses, there's no better place to play than Aurora. What's up guys, it's Zach here. I enjoy leaf peeping every fall, but instead of heading to the mountains, I'm heading to my local Aurora golf courses. Saddle Rock, Aurora Hills, Spring Hill, Meadow Hills, and Murphy Creek have stunning Rocky Mountain views with the fall colors we adore. For more information and to book a tee time, visit golfaurora.com and give them a follow on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Golf Aurora CO.
A careless driver caused your crash. Medical bills are piling up, and you might not be able to work. Life just got a lot more expensive, and you don't know what to do. At Berg Simpson, your consultation is absolutely free. We'll explain your legal options at no cost to you. Help starts with a phone call to us.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives. It's not just a slogan, it's who we are.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900. That's 720-440-7900. Or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Mike Evans here for Copperhead Plumbing. Your home doesn't have to flood before you know there's a problem. With the Mow and Flow Smart Water Shutoff System, you can monitor your home's water usage in real time right from your phone. You'll get notified the moment a leak starts. Trust Copperhead Plumbing for professional installation. Ask about installing a Mow and Flow system today.
Copperhead Plumbing, built to last. Call us once, you'll forget the past.
Copperhead Plumbing. They plumb different. They plumb custom.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Back in Football Friday edition of Denver Sports Tonight. I am Danny Williams. I'm in with my guy Dante Gomez. We're having a good one. The energy is good, at least in studio. Can't speak for the Buffs right now. Kind of not looking good for CU down early in this game. 7 o'clock, feel free to go check it out. Dante, if the Buffs get a beatdown put on them, as you don't have any points and you have a 0 on the scoreboard, as the game goes along, especially when you have a quarterback trio controversy, Controversy. Yes, the 0 gets bigger. And then if you're down 17-0, then you start to feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. And Houston's no world beaters. They're in flux themselves. But if Houston goes and does the Buffs in a way here, I don't know what's going to happen and what the vibe is going to be like. And we might see a different side of Coach Prime, who's taking some heat already for the first time around here. For guys who are kind of all in and loved him and wanted to stay on the good side and would lean towards the positive side instead of the stuff that might have rubbed them the wrong way with Coach Prime. They get beat down by Houston tonight. It's going to be some of the stuff for the first time that Coach Prime has never really heard or felt, and maybe some of his 50-50 guys are going to lean to the other side, and they'll start to detract a little bit. Right, Dante?
Yeah, I mean,
I like the story.
No, I do too, but so with the Buffs, for me at least, we've only really seen them when they have momentum going.
Yeah.
And I think if they lose tonight, especially in a not good way here, like if they get blown out, I think that could really kill the momentum. And I'm pretty sure it was me and you maybe a week or two ago talking about, there's some swing games on the Buffs
100%.
schedule.
Yes.
Georgia Tech was one.
Yep.
Houston's one tonight.
You lose both of those.
Yes, you can't afford to lose both swing games, especially the way they lost the first Georgia Tech game with winning the turnover battle, and still it wasn't like the most competitive game there in the fourth quarter. I know they had a chance at the end, but it was a very long shot. And if this one gets ugly, it's just, it's going to be tough to regain that momentum, get going again.
And I think, and this doesn't matter, but I think Clemson's on upset alert this weekend against Georgia Tech. And we said the Georgia Tech loss won't look as bad later on in the season, but if you lose to Houston, you lose to Georgia Tech, you're 1-2, you beat a Delaware team that are kind of, it is what it is. I don't want to disrespect any of these student athletes, but it's just going to get really hard to find a way to win 4 or 5 games when you look at the schedule in a Big 12 that's pretty talented. It gets tougher and tougher as the schedule goes down the stretch here. So Dante, I'll say they got to win 5 games. They got to win 5 or 6 games. They don't have to go to a bowl game, but they cannot be a 3 or 4 win team, because even in its worst days, a premier collegiate football coach, the Brian Kellys and the Sweeneys, and it'll probably never be the same at Clemson with the new NIL stuff, but there's certain coaches are never going to not win 8 games, 7 games, no matter what. Almost like no matter if everything went wrong for them. That's like how it kind of ends up. When you're a 3 or 4 win coach and team, you're not better than anybody in college football. And it shows you, at your worst, this is your worst. Your worst is not, okay, we're still a 500 team and we got that foundation. We're always good because of this and this and this, or our philosophy or a scheme or the trenches or the super skill talent. The Buffs are in a kind of a weird spot in a weird way. I don't think I'd have went with this quarterback because, again, you don't take a guy who is, and it's not us who pumped up Juju and Caden Salter. It was they were both at media day. Those guys, both of those guys were improbably, it never happens. We're at media day. Remember that, Dante? We did those shows too.
Oh, absolutely. I remember Deion Sanders, because it was very funny when he announced Caden Salter as the starter, being like, "Oh, it was always going to be Salter." I don't know what you guys are talking about there. And it's like, dude, you at Big 12 Media said you brought both because you don't know who's going to start. I don't know. He very quickly flipped the narrative on that. Like, oh, yeah, it's always going to be Salter. And then even 2 weeks later, it's like, well, actually, we're going to bench Salter for Ryan Staub instead now. So, yeah, and to your point about even good coaches, they have a certain floor to them. We saw last year Utah. Kyle Whittingham's built a great program over at Utah there. They had 4 different starting quarterbacks last year, which is a nightmare for any organization.
They're scary this year, I think.
I think they are as well. But going to your point, they still went 5-7 last year. They were better than when Shedeur was here his first year and Deion was here their first year. And they had 4 different starting quarterbacks.
And they lost some close games. Then they had everything go wrong for them, Utah. So do you know what I said before Coach Prime got here? Before Coach Prime got here, I said, CU football needs to be like Utah football. Here's what we do. We'll have one of the best running backs in the nation. It's a style of play thing. We're going to have a smart quarterback, maybe like a transfer older guy. And you just kind of like, that's us. That's who and what we kind of do. We'll use the altitude stuff to our advantage. And again, Coach Prime comes in, blows the doors off, and you got, Trav and Shedeur. And it's not real life. It's like Denny goes to the dentist. Is this real life? Remember that guy? So this is the first real opportunity we're going to have a chance to see, like Coach Prime. Okay, you don't have sons here. Maybe it's, not your best talent. Maybe you didn't get the exact couple guys you want or even the quarterback you wanted for your future. But who and what are you when the going gets tough and the tough gets going and it's all kind of spread out there? Are you the worst team in the Big 12? The worst team? And I'm going to give some credit to, again, it's the Trav and Shedeur show. No matter what you think about them getting their jerseys retired, and you can call Shedeur overrated all you want, Travis Hunter is one of the greatest collegiate football players in the history of college football.
I won a Heisman.
Dynamic, unique, special. I mean, like every last, he was it. He was. It's going to be a long time before we may never see another guy like that. So you have to kind of utilize that to its fullest. The Buffs did. Probably threw everything out of whack in terms of building a real kind of team from scratch, a complementary team. Offensive, defensive, even through the offensive, throwing the ball. And we got to, they never really run the ball to success here yet in the Coach Prime era. This is the first year, first team, first chance, first opportunity we're going to see that Coach Prime, like what he can do when he has it, like everybody else has it. Okay? So it takes time to become a Dabo and a Kirby Smart and, a top 10, 12, 15 coach in the country where you're just doing it year in, year out, and every second or third or fourth year you're competing for a national championship. No, Coach Prime's not there. I'm not expecting him to be here. I'm not mad at him for not being that yet, but the expectations are for him to be that in the next kind of 2 years. This might be a get beat down year, but I'll tell you, next year the expectations are going to be super high. Very high. So we'll see what happens this year. Don't get the doors blown off and make it competitive, get better as the season goes along. Juju, 17, probably too young to compete in the Big 12. But if you mix him in, blend him in, get his confidence up, don't shatter the confidence, by the end of the season, maybe he could be your legit starter next season for the Buffs, and you could build off the 4 stars, the 5 stars that he had coming into Colorado and going to SC and that kind of stuff, right? Right, Dante?
Yeah, and to me, you're talking about Deion there, and to me, it's Deion, who are you as a coach when there is no hype about the program?
Yeah,
and I think after this year, I think a lot of that hype's going to die down, unless somehow they, turn this game and this season around and are able to go 9-3, something like that. But it's gonna, it's who are you when you're going through tough times? And I expect him to bounce back.
Me too.
I'm with you on Juju's probably too young at this time to make a huge impact on this team.
Yeah.
You throw him out there, it's great. He's going to, take some lumps and hopefully get better for 2026. But that's not helping you in 2025. I'm still interested. I know the big story has kind of died with CU in terms of, College Game Day coming here and the Travis and Shedeur show. I'm almost more interested in what's going to happen in these next 2 seasons if Deion's going to be able to really, build this program back up.
Great call. Okay.
And real quick, I'm going to disagree with you. It doesn't always take that long to be a incredible head coach. Dan Lanning went from Georgia, D.C., Oregon head coach. He's been incredible at Oregon since he got there.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart took over a Georgia program, and he was Alabama DC before that, but he's been incredible at Georgia since he took over. So it doesn't always take 5, 7, 10 years to be this great
There
coach.
is some overnight success stories in college football that happen every single year. You're right about that. But when you get gutted from, again, Shedeur probably was a top 10 player in college football last year. I don't know if he should have been up in that one of the 4, 5, 6 Heisman guys, but he could have been too.
I think Heisman voting, he was top 10 Heisman voter.
Okay, there you go. So
vote getter.
In theory, not in theory, in fact, okay? And facts don't care about feelings. Fact, you got 2 Heisman candidates that left your team. That's like a gaping hole, a crater within your team. How do you rebuild that? The Buffs are in the process of kind of figuring that out. So, Dante, final segment here. I want to finish strong here before we get out of here. I have a key. I need your 2 keys to the Broncos winning this game. I have one big key here for the Broncos to win this game, and then we're going to do stat lines, player stat lines, and expectations. We're going to do it next.
Will J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey be featured more on offense? Will the Broncos defense carry the team to another victory? We'll react to it all in the Fan Football Postgame Show. Live on game day starting at the 2-minute warning. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wow, Leslie, your fireplace really sucks.
I beg your pardon?
Well, what I mean is your fireplace is literally sucking all the air out of your house and right up the chimney every time you burn it.
Well, what can I do about it?
Well, you could get a high-efficiency gas insert from Cozy Heat. It keeps all the air you already pay the utility company to heat, and it returns up to 80% of the fire's heat back into your house.
I'd use my fireplace every chance I get if I could do that. Maybe my furnace wouldn't need to run so much.
Well, that's the whole point. Hi, this is Keith Lair with Lair Fireplace and Patio, along with my niece Leslie, to tell you how a gas insert from Cozy Heat will give you the incentive to use your fireplace again. Cozy Heat gas fireplaces and inserts are made to crank out the heat with beauty and style.
Lair's is Denver's oldest, most trusted name in fireplaces. Family owned and operated since 1954.
We'll even give you a free in-home quote, including expert installation by our own certified in-house installers.
Find us on the web at lairfireplacepatio.com.
For top quality Cozy Heat fireplaces and inserts, it's Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's fireplace experts.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Regulated by the Colorado Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply based on approved credit.
Buying an investment property should be simple, right? Find a place that cash flows, make your down payment. But then comes the part every investor dreads, getting a loan. You know what happens next. You hand over your tax returns loaded with write-offs and smart CPA magic, but the bank looks at you like, oh, you're one of those people. Traditional lenders don't get you, but we do. At Cake, we specialize in DSCR loans. DSCR means debt service coverage ratio. Simply said, if rent covers or almost covers the mortgage, we can probably get you funded and you won't need to explain yourself to a loan officer who's never filed a Schedule C. Start building your real estate legacy today. Call 1-800-EAT-CAKE. That's 1-800-EAT-CAKE right now. Or visit cakehome.com to learn why life's better with Cake.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan brought to you by Flanagan Law.
Joel Klatt, the nation's leading voice in college football, joins Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth every Wednesday morning. Presented by Groove Toyota. Here we go. Tune in at 8:10 for exclusive insight, bold analysis, and maybe just a hint of shenanigans. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Final segment, Football Friday edition of Denver Sports Tonight. I am Danny Williams along with Dante Gomez. We got just enough time to kind of get it all in here, finish strong, and just kind of put our feelings out there, Dante, about what we're expecting from the Broncos and the Colts here in Week 2. We started the show by saying we're back in on Monday night, you and I together, and how good of a feeling would it be to be 2-0 if you're the Denver Broncos? Just like that, we're looking to what's going to be a real interesting part of the schedule, games that really, really matter within the division. Kind of some litmus tests. The Broncos are going to have their hands full with the Colts. I promise you that. The Colts are not have forgotten what happened here last year when they laid that ball down at the 1-yard line, and they're feeling like a playoff team, and they're feeling, they had it all going for them. That's a weird kind of turning point, almost not just in the Broncos season, but I want to think like in the history of what's going to be the evolution of the Broncos and Bo Nix and Sean Payton winning Super Bowls. That moment, man, it could have went a different way. The Broncos could have went a 7, 8, 9 win team, not making the playoffs. Everything would have been different if Jonathan Taylor didn't lay that ball down there at the 1-yard line. But he did. The Broncos went to the playoffs. They won 10 games, and now they got not the weight of the world on their shoulders, the Broncos, but very high expectations. So what are you expecting, Dante? Give me one or two keys to this game for the Denver Broncos that it's going to take for them to beat a Colts team that has a lot of belief right now, is 1-0 coming off a big-time win, and wants to go to the playoffs themselves.
I would say, who's going to be the wide receiver too? Okay. I'm assuming that the Colts are going to try to scheme out Courtland Sutton. They should try to scheme out Courtland Sutton out of this game. Can Bo Nix beat you throwing it to Troy Franklin? Can Bo Nix beat you throwing it to Marvin Mims? So I think whoever that wide receiver 2 is, I think they're going to have 50, 60 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 combined. 100 combined yards that aren't Courtland Sutton's, I think are very important out of those, whoever, whether it's Mims or Franklin or Bryant. So I think that's going to be a very big key, especially with the,
Ingram injury.
Ingram injury
That's
and a injury to the Colts secondary.
Yeah.
So I think both ways Bo Nix is going to have to, find out who that number 2 is for him. And then I don't know if I can call this an X factor. Is Daniel Jones going to be the Daniel Jones we saw last week, or is Daniel Jones going to be the Daniel Jones that we saw for a majority of his time in New York? I don't know how much the Broncos can even impact that, because if Daniel Jones is on, he's decent, I guess.
Not decent. He is. He's unique. He can run the ball. He's not afraid to do it.
But
he's
then
a talented athlete at the position. He's just, again, maybe he's dumb as a box of rocks, or maybe some of intangibles and some of the leadership stuff that we don't see has kind of got him back to this point. I'm not so sure, but he's here. He looked great last week. 270 yards, couple touchdowns. I think what was going to be the key in this game, though, is going to be their defensive front. DeForest Buckner, which the guy feels like he's been around forever. I mean, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Their interior defensive line is one of their biggest strengths, actually. Grover Stewart is another guy who makes kind of life hell for offenses. You saw what happened last week with the front of the Titans. And they have Jeffrey Simmons, who is a really, really super good player. But he kind of wrecked the game a little bit at times for the Broncos. And if they're going to put pressure on Bo Nix and make it really tough for him to throw the ball down the field, or at least throw himself into some mistakes, one or two could be the difference in a game. I think that's somewhere to kind of look at as Bo Nix. How are you going to accept the pressure? What are you going to do with it? And he needs a clean game, because he started the last couple seasons off here now last week, and then the first two games of last season with 4 interceptions and 0-2 start last year. Now he has a couple picks, a beautiful throw to Cortland Sutton, and a fumble. You don't throw that Cortland Sutton touchdown, all of a sudden your day's looking like a disaster. Their defensive front's going to be a big problem. Run the ball if you're the Denver Broncos, right, Dante? How does that look? What do the touches look like? What do the stats look like?
Well, I think the Broncos have 2 great options at running back. I'm expecting J.K. Dobbins, let's call it 15 carries, and I think Harvey will be closer to like 9 to 11.
Touches or carries?
Carries.
Okay.
Carries.
Yeah, that's a good number.
I think those are good numbers for both of those guys, and that means you're committed to the run still, and I think both those guys are very capable. We saw last week, they're both very capable of, eating the clock and just, changing the dynamic of a game where Sean Payton loves to throw the ball, and if you have to game plan also for a strong running attack, which I think the Broncos team has it inside them to do that.
Yeah.
I think both of the guys are going to be very capable and willing runners, and hopefully Sean Payton can lean into that aspect of the game plan.
I'm seeing Harvey, and you saw in preseason it just didn't break. Like this really explosive guy who's going to get shot out of a cannon, get the ball in his hands, and he's very dangerous. Special things can happen. We saw that last week. I mean, it took a little bit of commitment to the run game. You get the ball in Harvey's hands, he breaks one for 50. I think he has the capability to do that every single week. But the offense has to be in the right situation and position and functional in order to do that. I think the Broncos offense, I don't need you to score 30 points. I don't need it to be perfect. I don't need you to look like the Ravens and the Bills, but let's extend drives. Let's extend a bunch of drives. Let's make it easy on our defense. And in a lot of ways, you know what? Let's not waste our defense. Let's not waste the defense. Save these guys to win a game when we really need them to win a game. We don't need them to win this game this week. We need the Broncos offense to go get to 24, 26 points. And how in the world do the Colts score 20 points against this defense? Let alone if the defense really has got it going bossa nova like we know they can. 13, 16, 17 points. So you have a 11-point victory for the Broncos. I dig that about you, Dante. I love that. I think this one's going to be closer because of who and what the Colts are to the start of the season. This belief, hey, the Broncos aren't better than us. We gave it to them last year. We're going to go replace the Broncos as the 6th, 7th team in the AFC this year in the playoffs. That's what they're thinking right now. Let's go give them a reality check.
See, they can think that all they want. I just don't think they're that good. I think they're very middling, 7 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins. I'll give them 7 wins this year.
Okay.
No, I think the Broncos are going to show out and show, hey, we're going to be a double-digit win team this year. We're going to be a problem.
Buffs are down 13-7. Okay, there's still a bunch of time left in the second quarter. Feel free to go check that game out. Dante, have a great weekend, okay?
You too, Danny.
Yeah, anybody out there? Well, I'll be in 10 to noon Broncos pregame on Sunday, so check me out there. We really appreciate you guys for checking us out here and listening to the fan all day long, okay? For Dante Gomez, I am Danny Williams. Go Broncos. We appreciate you guys, and we love you guys. Good night, Sheila.
is headed east to take on Indianapolis. Kick your football Sunday off in style with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 10 a.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Your roof's the single most important part of your house. Snow and high winds can damage your roof. Don't trust your roof to any fly-by-night roofing companies. Call the professionals at Golden Spike for a free roof inspection and tell them you heard about it on The Fan. They're a locally owned company and a Team Dave Logan member.
Call Golden Spike Roofing when your roof needs a fix. 303-942-1386. Golden Spike